Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today we're going to set up my new Dingbats bullet journal right here. And if you're interested, I did make a video of my first impressions of this notebook, which that will be linked in the description below. Let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is test out my black pens on my pen test page, just to see if they bleed or ghost. Since I've never had paper of this quality before, I want to know which pens I can use on it and which pens I can't. And you'll see in a second that I flip the page over to check for ghosting and shadows, just to see which specific pens bleed through, but none of them did actually, even the Sharpie, which I was surprised about. Now you'll see me putting some teal star washi onto the next spread, which will become my page ideas spread. This spread will probably be used to just scribble in some ideas like haphazardly, because I always get my best ideas when I'm trying to sleep, then I have to wake up and write them down or else I'll forget them. As you can see, I was struggling a little bit with that G, which apparently G is my problem letter, because you'll see later on in another spread I took a while to make a G and it didn't turn out that great. Now you can watch me struggle to put this thank you washi down on my self thank you spread. If you want to know why I have a self thank you spread, you can watch my bullet journal flip through / history video, which I'll link in the description below. And I'm also adding some cactus stickers just because they're cute and I didn't want to leave a huge blank space. I'm not entirely pleased with how this turned out, but I think it's good enough and it leaves enough space for what I want to do with it. Now this spread is actually a commission tracker, so I can track my income from my custom crochet business. I tried to use 2 different washes just for interests, and you can see that I'm not too great at brush lettering, but the point is that I tried, and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I like the color scheme, even though I don't use pink that often. And I was debating whether or not to put an S in there or write tracker, but I went for the S. Next, I'm making a savings tracker so that I have a visual way to know how close I am to purchasing specific things. And I use these stickers to make an example to show you how I'm planning to use it, which will basically just be using these icons to write the total amount and what I'm saving for, and sectioning off an area where 1 square equals $1 or 1 square equals $10, and I fill them in whenever I save up that much money in my little piggy banks. And again, I'm going to use some semi-fancy lettering to throw in a fun quote that just says, "Get that green." And you can kind of tell that I was struggling with the G in green because I left it until last for both the outlining and the coloring. But eventually I did get it and it was fine. Like, the page turned out okay and I'm happy with it, so I just might have to practice G some more in my free time. The next spread is going to be my Just Bean Things spread, which is kind of a strange name, but it's basically going to be a cute page of inside jokes and just cute quotes from my partner. Since we are long distance, it helps me to have a page in my journal of just nice things that he said or done for me, so that I don't feel so lonely or upset. Here I'm just adding in some basic cursive writing for the title, And it took me a while because, again, I'm trying to get better at lettering, and I figured the best way to do that is just do a bunch. So I'm doing a bunch of different types in this setup, and now I'm gonna add some of these little heart stickers. And there were some like gold ones which I really wanted to use that were sparkly, but they totally ripped off the page, so I couldn't. Now I'm using some rainbow foil washi tape, which you can't really see on camera, but it is really pretty, and I'm using it to decorate my packing list page. Since I'm long distance, again, I go on a lot of trips. Well, not a lot, but some trips that I need to pack essentially the same things over and over. And this idea I saw on Instagram that you can reuse the same spread for different dates. And I'm just going to put in my old packing list that I never used, and I'm counting up the side for how many boxes I need, and I actually had some extra, so in case I think of something else I want to put in, I do have space. I showed the other silver and pink one, which you can kind of see off to the side in my first bullet journal flip through, but I never got to use it since I transferred out of that Bujo into this one. Now I'm adding in a bubble letter title, which I used to do bubble letters so much as a kid, and here I am struggling with the G again. And I decided to do rainbow for this spread, I don't know, just because it's bright and colorful, and it's what I had. I've seen a lot of people use those Tombow markers, but they're just too expensive for me, so I have good old Crayola and highlighters. But they worked fine for what I need them to do, and it's still nice, so I like this spread. And I did mess up, so I used a little bit of white out. Now I'm using this Planner Basics sticker book from Michaels, and I'm just using some of their travel stickers. They're all like plane oriented, and I don't fly often at all, so I usually drive or take a bus, but I use some of these more like generic stickers to put on there, just so it's like a traveling arrow and then like A to B. Now I'm making my favorite spread out of all of the ones that I did in this journal so far, and I'm using this colored pencil washi tape from Wish, and it's really cheap, but it does work. I've never had it pull up, like it's not sticky anymore. And now I'm drawing an illustration of a ball of yarn with a crochet hook and a needle coming out of it, because this is going to be my design ideas spread for my crochet. So I think that in a live stream that I did around the middle of June, I mentioned that I really wanted to make a bismuth project, so like a stuffed animal of bismuth from Steven Universe, and that's the first thing that I wrote in this spread because I'm so excited to make it once I'm finished prepping for my convention coming up. So I can really just put down any ideas that I've had. Like a few of them are like a sweater with bat wings on it and like a Little Mermaid seashell bra. Just little drawings that I can put in here and notes for constructing them. So now I'm making my things to do in summer spread, which is kind of ironic because it's almost the end of summer for me. Like I only have 2 months left, and half of that is going to be going on trips and relaxing. But I used some washi to decorate the page, and I'm putting in my title so I can write in things that I want to do with my family while I'm home away from school. And I do show later my old bullet journal spread for this, where it has little illustrations that I made with Crayola markers and a description of what I want to do. And some of them are already in the works, such as making YouTube videos. I like how this spread turned out, especially the lettering in the title, because the markers kind of blended a bit, and I've never done that before, but it turned out pretty cool and it didn't stain the markers too bad. Now, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the last spread of the video, my Welcome to Night Vale spread. Welcome to Night Vale is a podcast that I've been listening to. It's kind of like a spooky news radio station, but it's nice to have on in the background while you work on your art or drawing in your bullet journal, or even like if you're cleaning up your house. I didn't want to film all of this gel pen coloring because it took a while, so we're just going to flash forward till after that, and you can watch me drawing in all of these little tiny squares. And my head kind of got in the way of the camera, but that's okay because we make it work. The squares represent one episode each, and whenever I finish an episode, I'm going to color them in. I'm only up to episode 17 right now, but I am about to go on vacation so I can listen to them all the way down to Virginia. I don't typically use a ruler when making spreads with squares or straight lines because I feel like it just takes too much time, and this is supposed to be a fun activity rather than making it perfect. So that's why I freehand most of my lines. And now, on the right side of the page, I'm writing in weather because the weather section of the newscast in this podcast is actually music, and there are a bunch of diverse types of music and artists that I like to mark down so that I can look them up later. Thanks for watching my bullet journal setup. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. If you're feeling extra generous, ring the notification bell to be notified when I post more videos. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.